a spacecraft sent from Earth in 1977, venturing beyond the boundaries of the known nearly half a century into its mission. Voyager 1 is venturing into territories where no one has ever set foot before. But recently, something disturbing happened. Voyager sent back a signal that left NASA scientists speechless. Yes, because what we are about to tell you is not science fiction. This is real, and what is happening in the depths of space will make your blood run cold. Voyager 1 is alone, on the very edge of nowhere, and suddenly something or someone has interfered. This is the mysterious attack it has just suffered, and how could it change everything we think we know about the universe to understand this incident? We first need to know a little bit more about this brave ship. Voyager 1 is one of the jewels of space exploration. A messenger of humanity launched into deep space in 1977. Right at the time when technology was still quite limited, it was built to explore the outer solar system, and along the way, it showed us fascinating images of Jupiter and Saturn. But its mission went further. NASA had much more ambitious plans for this one. After completing its primary mission, Voyager 1 continued its journey into interstellar space and remains advancing into the abyss where the sun is no longer more than a small dot in the distance. But now something has changed in recent months. Voyager 1 began sending back disturbing signals that have left scientists scratching their heads. And when we say disturbing, believe me, it is not just an exaggeration. Normally, the spacecraft sends back data showing what environment of interstellar space is like, but recently those transmissions have been accompanied by interference. To put this into context, imagine you're listening to a radio on the road, and suddenly you hear strange voices that shouldn't be there. That is exactly what scientists found in Voyager's transmissions. At first, NASA thought it was just a technical problem. After all, Voyager is a 1970 spacecraft, and it's been enduring the harsh conditions of space for decades. But upon further analysis, doubts arose. The interference seemed different, as if something outside had tampered with it. So, what's going on with Voyager 1? It has been attacked, or are we seeing the effects of some completely unknown space phenomenon? Experts are divided. Some think the spacecraft is simply failing due to its age and the enormous distance at which is located, but others don't rule out a disturbing possibility that someone or something in space has tried to communicate with us and used Voyager as a bridge. Yes, because what few know is a Voyager is carrying a recorded message, a golden record, with sounds from Earth, greetings in different languages and music from around the world, a message in case some extraterrestrial beings finds it, and now it almost seems like someone has found Voyager and is returning it to us with a message of their own. Scientists began to analyze the signals, carefully hoping to find some logical pattern. But what they discovered was an even more disconcerting transmission. The interference seemed to come in bursts, as if it were a deliberated attempt at transmission, something that shouldn't happen at all. Voyager has a well-defined communication protocol and should only be sending scientific data or its position. So why are these interferences? Why does something that should be a simple data transmission show such marked irregularity? This is when researchers began to consider alternate theories, and believe me, some of them are really disturbing. Some experts think that Voyager 1 could be passing through a region of space that affects its signal, and in strange ways, like some kind of magnetic field or unknown radiation. But there is another, much more mysterious theory that suggests that something or someone has intercepted Voyager. Yes, I know it may sound like something out of a science fiction movie, but before we dismiss the idea, let's listen to what some scientists have begun to propose. What if an alien life form has found Voyager and is trying to use it as a communication channel? After all, that golden record carries messages, greetings in several languages, and even though it is designed for beings who may not understand human language, the very concept of a message in space is already an invitation. Imagine this. Somewhere out there, in the vastness of Interstellar space and advanced civilization discovers a ship with a golden record, a message from Earth, and decides to respond. We cannot forget that Voyager has been traveling for almost 50 years, and during all that time, it has been able to pass through regions that we do not even understand yet. Maybe, just maybe, it has crossed the border of an unknown territory. Faced with the situation, NASA scientists have formulated various hypotheses to try to explain the inexplicable. One of the first theories suggests that Voyager's systems, as old as they are, could be failing due to prolonged exposure to space. Lack of repair and maintenance has left it able, and perhaps the signals are simply a symptom of deterioration. But there is something that doesn't fit, because, think about it, Voyager's signals have always been stable despite the distances, the obstacles, and even the years. This ship has continued to transmit faithfully. So why change now, just when it is in the deepest space, outside the influence of the sun or any planet? And if it's not a technical failure, who or what is behind the signals? Engineers do not rule out anything. Among all the options on the table is the possibility that an unknown phenomenon has touched Voyager. Let's think for a moment about what it could mean if these interferences came from an intelligence outside our planet. Imagine the magnitude of that discovery. It would completely change our place in the cosmos, our idea of solitude in the universe, and even the very essence of our existence. Since the earliest recorded history, humanity has looked to the sky for answers, and today, thanks to Voyager, we could be one step away from finding those answers. It is not a discovery to be taken lightly. NASA and astronomers around the world continue to investigate every little signal, every piece of data that Voyager sends back. Are we ready to receive an answer from the other side of the cosmos? That is a real question, because if Voyager has been truly touched, the message may be much bigger than we are ready to understand. Voyager 1 continues its journey into the void, leaving a trail of wonder and mystery. And although its mission was simply to explore, it seems that its true purpose could be much more transcendental than we have ever imagined. We do not know what kind of intelligence might be behind these signals, or if perhaps we're misinterpreting the message. But one thing is certain. This ship, which began as a scientific dream, today leaves us with more questions than answers. So, as Voyager continues to drift away, we can only wait and listen, because perhaps at the end of this transmission, we'll discover that we have never been alone. Now, some scientists have begun to posit an even more disturbing theory. What if these signals aren't simply an attempt at communication? What if, in fact, they are a warning? Because think about it. An advanced civilization that found Voyager and understood its purpose, what would they think of humanity, and what message would they send back to us? This is where an idea comes in that takes us out of our comfort zone. Could it be that some distant intelligence is trying to warn us about something that Voyager has found, a window to us, and is sending us a signal to stop or to prepare? Because if they have reached us, have found our open letter, that golden record with greetings and music, then they may also know much more about us than we would like, how much we do not know about the universe. Voyager is just a speck of dust in an ocean that we do not yet fully understand. What if these interferences were just a hint of something bigger? Astrophysicists remind us that the universe is an immense place, full of phenomena that we still do not fully understand. It could be an unknown natural phenomenon. It could be a form of energy that humanity does not yet understand, or it could be something much more surprising. Can you imagine if this signal was a first step towards interstellar contact? This is the mystery surrounding Voyager that leaves us in suspense, and every interference, every signal, is a reminder of how little we really know about the universe. Meanwhile, Voyager 1 continues traveling towards the abyss without stopping, sending us these encrypted signals, which could be the last we hear from it. Because sooner or later the ship will stop working. Its power will run out of fuel, and its voice will be extinguished forever in the void. And when that happens, We will only be left wondering if we really communicated with something, or if it was just our imagination projected into the immensity of the cosmos. We may never know what or who caused the interference, but perhaps this is the real message of Voyager: to remind us that the universe remains a place full of questions, that space exploration is as mysterious as it is fascinating, and that, in the end, the true value of the mission is to remind us all of how small we are in this vast universe. If the story has left you with as many questions as it has left us, join the channel and join us in this constant search for answers. Every day, the universe surprises us with something new, and you never know when a discovery could change the course of humanity. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.